All right, guys, that's about as spooky and Halloweeny as we're going to get here. Uh, I tried. Got you a little zombie in the background and some spooky skull with candles and all that. But I live in a retirement community here, and we don't have we never have any trick or treaters, so I don't even bother going out for candy. If I hear a bunch of knocking at the door, I'll probably just give them some spare change or something. But normally we don't see any of that. So how's everybody doing? Thanks for stopping by on Halloween. I let me take a second and bring in my trusty sidekick who always has compassion for me and doesn't want me to be here all by myself. And that'd be
Get him out of here!
nah, wrong button.
Boom!
There you go. Hi,
Oh,
Gary.
man.
How
I
you
got
doing?
to chat up here so I can see what people are doing.
Oh well, we got it off to a nice little start here tonight. I got my hater. I have a hater. I have a hater. Honest to God, every time I put up a video, within 5 seconds of it going up, I get a thumbs down.
No.
Same thing here. The minute I went live, boom, got a thumbs down. Somebody who's actually subscribed to me makes it a point to come on and give me a thumbs down.
Well, they say, Mitch, that a thumbs down or a thumbs up give you the same amount of engagement as far as YouTube.
I don't, not that I care, but I mean, do you have time to do that in your life?
No.
I don't get it.
In in my videos, though, I always disable the thumbs up, thumbs down. You can still like it or not.
Yeah.
But there's no counter.
I think I'm going to start doing that. I noticed that some of the other guys too. So
Yeah, it just encourages them. It's a form of bullying,
well, there's been some talk, from what I understand, among the YouTube community. I heard a rumor on some stream somewhere that they're thinking about changing that, and
Yeah.
that and it makes sense that if you leave a thumbs down, you must leave a comment with it, or they won't count it. I mean, that to me would be a good idea. You don't like something, give somebody some constructive criticism. Say, you're old, you're ugly, you're bald. Tell me whatever. I don't care. Just tell me why.
Yeah, yeah. Now I had a thumbs down on the one that I had. It was a soybean harvest. How could anybody be offended by that?
I don't know, but you know what happens? It's real easy. Maybe with all this hecticness that's going on in the chat and trying to do one of these things by yourself, maybe I missed saying hello to somebody one night. It's possible. I don't know. So with that in mind, let me do this. Let me go back to the beginning of the chat here and make sure I say hi to everybody. So the first one in, of course, is Craig, Mad Kiwi. How you doing? Good day. And Paul, Phantom Hodges, Drone is here. Good to see you. Tomas, always good to see you. And Night Train, Drone Life RC. How you doing, my friend? Thanks for coming in. And let's see as we go down here. Night Train again. Kiwi. Drone Shots. Jody says we're tearing jumper T16. LOL. Come on, something to do. LOL. You're tearing jumper. I know that's the radio, but I don't understand whether you're flying with it or you're finding fault with it. So give me a clue. Let me know what you're talking about. And Tim Weaver's here. How you doing, Tim? Thanks for coming in on Halloween. Chris Hope, how you doing, my friend? Happy Halloween to you guys out there. Bob Casey's here. Hey, Bob, how are you? And Bob Casey and Bill Riffett. Hiya, Bill. How are you? Happy Halloween to you, too. And let's go on down. Night Train. Steve Carpenter. Hey, Steve. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in. Bill Thomas is here. Happy Mitchellween, he says. Hey, that's all right. I got a holiday named after me. Coast to Coast Drones. And Phantom. Wow, we got a real crowd here tonight. Look at this. Thomas, Steve, Chris, Guys are chatting it up here. I can't get to the bottom of this. Chris, okay, if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but
Oh,
it's busy. So, did you buy your Mavic Mini yet?
no, no. I thought about it. Like I do some real estate stuff, and around here there's a big subdivision and a lot of development going on right near the airport, and I can't shoot any of that. And maybe the Mavic Mini would be the secret. I don't know. I just I can't see buying another drone.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's cute. It's oh, Peter Carroll's here, and he says Halloween was yesterday. Well, that's because you're living in Tomorrowland.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, Peter. How you doing? And Jody says I want you to check the Hall gimbals. Jody, I've put a number of flights on mine, and it just seems to be very smooth. I'm not having, and I've flown hours on the simulator with it. So is somebody having some problems with them? I know I got the Pro one with the Hall gimbals. It seems to work pretty good. So I still
Steve Carpenter's saying I should get a waiver.
get a waiver.
Easier said than done in Canada.
Now, is that Mavic Mini thing legal in
Yes.
Canada? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Legal. In other words, they consider it a toy, so you don't have to. You can fly it over airports. You can fly
have
over
the same-
people. You can.
Yeah, we have the same rule as you do, 250 grams and up, right? Other than that, it's not a drone. It's
Yeah.
what it is, right?
I have a certain fear, which I hope doesn't come to fruition, but I don't see the federal government looking very kindly on this. We'll beat you by 1 gram. Take that attitude of DJI. I also think this thing's going to be a big seller. And of course, if you look, and this is my opinion, and you know what they say, opinions are like a-holes. Everybody's got one, and
And they'll stick.
this is my opinion. I think that they're not marketing it to you and me. They're marketing this as based on the videos that I've seen. They're marketing it to young kids, teenagers, the selfie crowd,
Sure. Yeah.
the Facebook crowd, the Twitter crowd, the hip crowd, the woke among us. And these people haven't grown up yet. Don't really understand. Most of them don't understand the concept of the ramifications of their actions, whether it's to themselves taking drugs and doing all kinds of crap and drinking too much, or to other people about that their actions might affect other people. And I have a funny feeling that DJI is going to just sell a ton of these. I think this is, even though it is $500 with the Flymore kit, and I think that there's going to be a lot of these things in a lot of people's hands. And I think that when the kids get their hands on these things and start, especially with a over a mile range, and they start flying these things all over the place in places they shouldn't, they may not hurt anybody with them. But if you think there's an anti-drone sentiment in this country about people wanting to shoot them out of the sky because of privacy violations and everything else, I don't think you've seen anything yet.
Hey, what's in
And I'm afraid that the net effect on the public perception of drones as more and more of these little skirting the law drones come in is not going to be good for us. And I'd almost like to start a pool right now and put money down on how many months it's going to take for the FAA to lower that 250 grams to 100 grams. 3 months, you say? Yeah.
I would say probably December or January. I think January. Transport Canada gets on that stuff early in the year.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be 100 grams. I think it'll be 0 and up.
Just all drones. Yeah. So
Um,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but
in the EU, they recognize that this technology was getting smaller and smaller, and theirs is zero and up.
yeah. Now you get to a point where these things have become so small that they can't hurt an airplane or anything. So then there's really no real reason to ban them.
Then it's a privacy thing.
Privacy issue. Somebody's always going to complain, and I'm just hoping that they don't screw it up. Now, I've got a 107, and I'm sure that with a 107, I'll probably always be able to find a way to fly drones somehow where I need to fly them. But our country is right now lenient compared to what you guys and Australia and some and Britain and Great Britain and some of those people have as far as the laws go.
I don't know. I think we're pretty much the same as you as far as Transport Canada and the FAA go. I think they're quite similar.
Well,
The difference being we have to, in order to get an advanced certificate, we have to have a flight review. So somebody has to see us fly.
yeah, we don't need that, and we also don't have. Is it you guys or England or Canada that's got you got to keep a flight log, you got to
Oh,
do
yeah.
this, you got yeah. So we don't have to do all that stuff yet. There's I don't know. I just don't see a happy ending when, like I say, the cell phone, the young hip woke selfie cell phone crowd starts having thousands and thousands of drones everywhere without prop guards,
Yeah.
with ranges of a mile, 2 miles, with no knowledge of any regulations or any laws. And I noticed, Steve, it's very hard, and I apologize to the guys in the chat. It's very hard for me to be talking. I'm old, and it's to do two things at once. Multitasking is hard, so it's hard. I see some good comments going by, but until I actually watch the replay of this after it's over and read all the chats, I miss it. I did see Steve Carpenter. Steve Carpenter. Oh, Phantom says thinking about buying the new one coming out on November 18th. I don't know what they're talking about. They must be having a conversation. But Steve Carpenter said something a little earlier, and I read it, and I was going to say something about it, and then it's gone. So
Now, here's the thing, Mitch. There are no drone cops. There's nobody out there weighing your drone to make sure that it's under 249 grams or under 250. As soon as somebody gets one of these drones and decides they're going to take it up and they're going to learn how to fly it and put the prop cards on, no, they're not legal.
they're not legal. Put a sticker on it.
Put the
You
sticker
put
on
a
it.
sticker.
It comes with stickers.
A sticker. Oh, Steve said that he heard that the Mavic has geofencing. Yeah, I would hope it does. It is a GPS drone, and maybe that'll help.
And in that case, it's no good for me as far as flying near the airport.
Yeah, and that might help, and that might alleviate some of the issues. But I mean, it's a cute little thing. I'll give it that. Believe me, I'm more excited about the Skydio 2 than I would ever be about the because the Mavic Mini doesn't do anything that the drones I have already doesn't do. In fact, it doesn't do it as well. But the Skydio does. I saw a
I was
video.
gonna say, somebody asked me how I can get excited about a drone. It's not a woman or a motorcycle.
Well, there are some people that wonder how you can get excited about motorcycles. We all have things. That we enjoy. Mike Roche Studios just popped in. Hiya, Mike. How you doing? Anybody would like to join us in the live stream? Feel free. You guys okay with this background of mine? It's kind of dark, and I got this.
Look at the background of mine. It's kind of messy.
Well, I took my little background, this one that I normally have, so that you all could see you could see the spooky stuff going on outside the window. See,
Oh yeah.
but you had enough of the spooky stuff, so I'll put my wall up in my window again. And I found this this little stuffed zombie doll. Stuck her in there, and Spank, he's behind a microphone right now, but he keeps he keeps looking over at her. You know,
It's like, what's going on over there?
what the hell? What the hell is that? And then I went and you know, I found a couple of Halloween appropriate sound effects, and I'm in business. You know, got Halloween covered here.
Good. We didn't do all the decorating and that stuff for Halloween this year, but we did grow our own pumpkins.
Really?
Oh yeah,
No
we
kidding.
got pumpkins that big.
They used to grow. I remember when I grew up in Philadelphia, they grew pumpkins up there,
Yeah,
and they used to have these contests, and they
Yeah.
grew these pumpkins that were 1,000 pounds, 2,000.
Oh, yeah.
They needed they'd fill up the bed of a pickup truck. Some of these stupid things.
they load them up with a forklift. They actually grow them on a pallet.
But yeah, I guess people, listen, people get excited about pumpkins, and you wonder, you want to ask them how, it's not a woman or a motorcycle.
Oh, there you
I don't get it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the Mavic Mini. I think from what I've seen, it's a really nice piece of technology. I certainly have nothing against it. I like the fact that it uses the lithium ion batteries. It doesn't have the traditional. I don't know. Can you change the battery cells inside the battery packs that you get with it? Because the 18650s, which look like a big flashlight, a big AAA, that's what all the goggles use. The Fat Sharks and all them use that. They give you a case that holds two of them. Even that new Jumper radio that I got has a case that holds two of those, and those are terrific. You can swap them around. They're not all that expensive. You can buy a pair of those, two of them for $10-15 that are high quality. It's a lot cheaper than paying $150 for a battery for your drone. And if you get 30 minutes of flying out of it, I think it's great. But
Yeah. Now, Paul from Phantom Hodges Drone said there's a new regulation just came out for Canada last Friday that a regular airport, not a certified airport, a regular airport, a registered airport, you have to comply now with their regulations, so you can send an email to the airport manager and fly close to them. That's in the regulation, but your DJI product will not take off in that zone. It won't fly.
so they've already updated it.
And you can do what you want as far as sending an email. DJI won't recognize any of that. I've tried it, and it does not work. I used to have a fairly good relationship with our local airport and be able to fly. Not anymore.
Well, they did away with that here. They did away with the few months ago. They said, okay, you can't call the tower anymore. The tower is not allowed to accept any calls from drone pilots anymore. You got to
But
go.
you have the land system. We've got
Well, you have everybody in our country has the land system except
not in
me.
Canada. No.
Except me.
Yeah.
I don't have the land system.
No.
I have an airport within 5 miles of me that says, when I pull it up on the map, the land system is coming soon to this airport. It still does. It still does. If I go and open up Air Map here, and I'll do that, drone, Air Map, and I pull up my airport. Let's see. Let me shrink it down a little bit so you guys can see. Let me turn the brightness up a little bit here and see if you can see this. You see on the camera, you see the blue circle?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to expand the blue circle out to where my place is, and you see the dot where my house is right by the highway,
Yep.
and it says the There's a red bar that says 400 in that quadrant. See, so I basically can fly below 400 feet in that quadrant with Lance authorization. So then when I touch it, down at the bottom, it says Melbourne. I don't know if you can read that or not, but there it is. Melbourne Airport requires authorization. Authorization coming soon. Now, if I go up to Daytona Beach, I can get it. If I go to Orlando, I could go stand right next to the runway at Orlando International and get a Lance authorization. But out here, 5 miles from Melbourne, where hardly ever an airplane flies over, they haven't set it up. And none of the airports in the Cape Canaveral Space Center area, Coco Airport, none of them have the Lance authorization yet. You know what I mean? So nobody can tell me when it's coming. I used to be able to fly because I had to deal with the tower. And the guy said, "Hey, just keep it below 400 feet, no problem. If you see an airplane low, just get out of the way." But that never happens. So I said, "Hey, that's great." And then the day we got the email that says you can't talk to the tower, I figure, well, I better not. Even though they gave me permission 6 months ago, I doubt that'd hold. And I don't want to have to deal with. I've dealt with too many government bureaucrats in my life to have to want to start again dealing with them. So I just behaved myself, and now I found a new place to fly that's outside of the airport area. So I don't have a problem.
Well, when I need to fly near the airport, this is what I use. I got a selfie stick, and I just hold it up 8 feet up, and I'm good to go.
There you go. Oh man, that's funny.
I got my 4K camera.
Yeah. I actually have a paying commercial drone job next week.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, Paul Hodge is doing a lot of that, he says in the chat. I had nothing.
I haven't been going after it. This is I did this last year for this group of Tai Chi people over there in Dunedin, where they have these big formations on the front lawn with hundreds of. Well, they're celebrating their 50th anniversary, and I'm going over there with the drone next week to shoot a few hundred of them out there on the front lawn of this big hotel doing Tai Chi again. So that's nice. Gives me. Let's see. Love my drones. Ed, how you doing? I saw Ed here, and I saw Metro Drones came in, and I saw, who else did I miss? Drone Life RC. How you doing, guys? And did I miss anybody else? I appreciate you coming by. Trick or treat. Throw some candy at your computer. Listen, Ken Heron's always begging for candy. I can beg for candy too.
We haven't had a kid here trick or treating in 15 years. It just stopped. And then for a number of years, we would make a cake, a Halloween cake. We'd make the cake, and if anybody came, they'd get the cake. We ended up eating the cake because nobody ever came.
God, I remember one of the things about growing up in a big city like I did in Philadelphia. Let me stop that story for a second. Jody says, Mitch, how long do the 18650 last? Well, the one I imagine that you're talking about in the jumper T16, and the 18650s that I got are, I think, 3,200 milliamp hours. So you've got 3,200 milliamp hours, but on that radio you've got a big color display, which eats up battery that, say, the display on the Tyrannus QX7 or 9D didn't. I can't imagine that you couldn't get through the longest full day of flying with one battery pack. But the connector that's on, interestingly enough, the connector that's on the pack that comes with the transmitter just has a simple, like a JST connector, like the balance connector on a standard LiPo. And it's you can take any 2-cell LiPo and plug it in and it'll work. Plug the balance lead into the jumper and it works perfectly. So I've got a little tiny, I think a 650 milliamp 2 cell that I just keep charged up, and I keep it in the case that I carry the jumper T16. And that way, if I'm out flying and the battery starts to get low, I can pull the pack with the 18650s out and just plug that little lipo in. That'd probably give me another hour, I imagine. But you know, the radio's only on when you're flying, and these things are relatively short flights anyway. So I've never, with the short time I've been using it, had a problem. So that's the answer to that. Now, what was I saying, Gary?
You were talking about the battery. Oh,
Yeah, no, but that was before we started. I was in the middle of something, and then I went off to answer the battery question, and
you're talking to two old guys that can't remember 5 minutes.
I don't know. CRS, you know, that's a disease we get. You know what CRS is, don't you?
No.
Can't remember shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's like my CDO. You know what CDO is, don't you?
Well, I know what it's supposed to be.
It's OCD, but in alphabetical order, like it's so.
Hey, where are all the guys tonight? Nobody's coming. Nobody's
Yeah,
coming.
come on. Somebody's
Come
got
on, guys. Come on in here and keep me company. We got
I'm no company.
seven. Well, I mean, let's get a conversation going here. I mean, I wanted to mention that I got. Let me get the email up here and I'll show it to you guys. I know Eric at eDrone already posted a video about this, but I did.
Give me 3 minutes here, Mitch.
I'll give you 4 if you need them. All right, Gary's gone. So, here's Steve Carpenter just came in. All right, we'll get. Hiya, Steve.
Hello, Mitch.
How you doing?
Happy Halloween.
Same to you. Same to you. Let me give you a. There you are, man.
Thank you.
Did you pre-order a Skydio?
Yes, I did.
Did you get your email?
Yes, I did.
So that's right. We talked about whose numbers you had your number is pretty close to mine. I don't remember if it was a little lower or a little higher, but we're in the same batch.
Right. We're in the same batch. We'll
Yeah.
be getting it, well, they say at the end of November through December, they'll be shipping.
Yeah, and here's the
Hello, Gary. Hey, how you doing?
here's
I had to put the dogs outside.
there's the email I got,
Right.
and they got a picture of them building an airplane up there. You see that? Thank you for choosing to fly Skydio 2. The crew is prepping the cabin, among other things, for takeoff, and we look forward to getting you in the air. Manufacturing lines at headquarters have transitioned into final production. What's the difference? We expect to start shipping in late November. Well, I called that. They said November. I said, yeah, the end of November. In the order that reservations were placed, and production batch 1 shipments will continue into December. When your order is ready, you'll get an email from us to collect the remaining balance. You'll have up to 10 days to complete the purchase. So that gives us some time to go out and, mug some old ladies, rob a bank, whatever we need to do.
Or we start doing it tonight with all the kids.
Yeah, or we could get on YouTube and start a GoFundMe page. A GoFundMe for Mitch's, a GoFundMe for Mitch's Skydio. I've never asked for money from you guys, but that would be a worthy cause. During checkout, you'll be able to add a beacon, controller, and other Skydio accessories. No shit. That's what I say. Now, if you want to, we're going to let you spend more money.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. After that, you'll get an email from us with UPS ground. They're cheaping out on the shipping. Instead of sending it UPS ground, instead of sending it by like priority.
You can't. Well, you can't because of the lipo batteries.
Oh, that's right. The batteries. Yeah, UPS ground. Okay. Tracking information. All right. I'm sorry, Skydio. I'll take back my criticism. I apologize. Mea culpa. Usually within 3 days of completing. From there, please don't hesitate to reach out to Skydio support if there's anything we can do to help make your flights more comfortable. Now, that's an unusual way of putting something.
Well, they're trying to make it to assemble that airplane. They're trying to make your
Yeah, I guess.
your
I
purchase.
guess. You know,
You know,
I mean, wouldn't it be cool if they put like a package of peanuts in with the drone when they shipped it to you?
there was a company when I was real active with our electrical contracting business. All of their packing for all their equipment was fresh popped, air popped popcorn, and it was all edible.
Oh God.
So
Yeah,
Speaking of Ed
they
DeBoll,
did that in the 70s.
speaking of Ed
The
DeBoll,
popcorn all got eaten by rats.
here's Ed. I tried to do a cute segue and you guys wouldn't let me.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Hello,
That's all
Alan.
right. That's all right. How you doing, Ed?
I'm doing good, thank you, Mitch.
Good. All right, good. I'm glad to see all you guys here for right now. I made a pot of coffee before this started, and it smells great and it's ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my be right back button and leave you guys to talk about whatever you want. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, we can hijack the broadcast now, guys.
he thought he had thumbs down before.
Oh my lord, he's asking for trouble, isn't he, Steve?
Big time.
And there, look who's here, that bloody Yorker.
Yeah. So you're having all these problems with being able to fly now because of all these new wonderful regulations that you have in your country up north. Um, I know with down here, I'm really fortunate where I'm at. I'm in between two, controlled airspaces, shall we speak, being the airport north of me and where I'm at in Southern California, because I'm halfway between LA and San Diego, but we have an airport called Orange County Airport, John Wayne Airport. And then south of me is Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Air Base. So that's a training base for the Marine Corps. And I'm sitting in between, so I'm kind of safe there. But since they've got that Lance up, they've got the heights like Mitch was talking about, where you can fly that they haven't brought it up yet. But yeah, you can just go in and get approval and boom, it's done.
Yeah, we're not quite that advanced here, and I went through all the Transport Canada hoops to get the advanced certification, which very few people have.
Right.
But DJI doesn't recognize that I'm an advanced pilot, so I have the same geofencing as a guy who's never registered his drone.
And there's no way to turn that off, Gary?
Is there a way?
The only way that I know of is you got to get that no limit drones thing, and you can go in there and modify it. But then then God knows what else you're going to screw up or what warranty you're going to void or anything else. So
I mean, you're dependent on what DJI does,
Yeah.
or you pay the consequences if something does go wrong. Right?
Yeah. Because Jim Boyd, even when he was hired, before all the those wave of hurricanes that were coming in to Mitch and to Jim, he was hired, had approval. He had no problem, but he flew into one area where all of a sudden the drone was going to start landing, and he was over water.
oh God,
Well, there's a lot of water around where Mitch and Jim are at because
oh yeah,
the intercoastal, you got the ocean, and the intercoastal is very wide down there.
Yeah.
yeah, and you a mile or more, and you
Yeah.
we also have a lot of lakes and retention ponds and I know because my little and canals because my little Beta FPV found a canal
Yeah,
and is now sleeping with the fishes.
sleeping with the fishes. Well, you hated that drone anyway.
I'll tell you what, it's like, yeah, I the only regret I have is that it had a nice SD card in it that but other than that, as far as the drone goes, I was ready to take it apart and use the camera out of it and something else. I mean, it just never. And yet some guys have them and they fly great. I tried all kinds of things, the stock tunes, special tunes. There was, I think I had a bad ESC or a bad motor. I think that,
Oh, okay.
and no amount of tuning or software is going to fix that. And I didn't.
No.
I just got tired of fooling with the stupid thing. And then you start getting to flying bigger drones and bigger FPV drones, and they fly so much better.
I guess that's kind of the problem with the binding flies. I guess that's what you got, Mitch. It was a binding fly.
Yeah, it had the D8, the Free Sky D8 receiver in it.
Okay, so it was already set up with a receiver and everything.
Yeah, yeah, it had the built-in receiver. The receiver is built right onto the board itself. I don't think it's a separate receiver.
It could have just been a crappy solder joint. You never know because they mass produce those things.
Yeah,
You know?
might have been, but I built a lot of drones, and in the meantime, got plenty to fly. So I just decided that was enough. Ed, you're in Florida, aren't you? If I remember correctly, you're in St. Augustine.
I am in St. Augustine.
Yeah, Ed, you're up in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of these days, you're about 2 hours from me. Well, how far? Let's see. You may be a little. Yeah, about 2 hours. You're about from Melbourne.
Two and a half.
Yeah. Sounds like it'd be close because you're just right up the coast. But hell, I can be in Tampa in 2 hours from here.
Well, yeah, because you obviously drive faster than I do.
Who, me?
I've been on 192, man. I guess it depends upon the time of day you leave.
No, I never go 190. 192 is much closer, but it's with the traffic and Disney and going through Osceola County, St. Cloud, Kissimmee, and all that. It's much quicker for me to shoot up north to the beach line, head on over to the Beltway around Orlando, and pick up I-4 that way.
I got you.
It's about 10 miles more driving, but it saves you about 45 minutes actually.
I actually have a lot of family in the Melbourne area, and some of the best sailing I ever did was on the Indian River.
Oh, my son lives right on the Indian River in Rockledge.
I've seen footage that you took
man,
from
there. I was over there this afternoon. We had lunch. I went out to lunch today. I went over his house and we sat out on the back porch and smoked a cigar and looked out at that beautiful view. What a gorgeous day. While the rest of this country is behind that cold front that's just north of us, and is freezing to death. I think we hit 91 today down here.
Yeah, we were upper 80s today too. I was sweating.
It's crazy. But tomorrow we're supposed to be in the upper 70s.
When's the cold front supposed to come by you, Mitch?
They said to this evening, but then it's going to stall and head back the other way. So we're really not going to get that change of season type feeling.
No way it's going to stall right before.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little cooler tomorrow, but sometime next week I think we're gonna get that deal where you walk out in the morning and you hit, and that chill hits you the first time for the year. You know the feeling. I love that first day where you say maybe I should go in and get a jacket. And the guy, but I looked at the weather map today and I see poor guys all over the country are getting 12 degrees, 6 degrees, 13 degrees. It's nuts.
We're sitting mid 70s here today, and thank goodness the winds have knocked down.
Well, you're burning up the state out there, man.
Yeah.
It's our time of year for us, what they call the Santa Ana wind conditions.
Yeah.
But
And when that happens, it's
I don't want to get political on you guys, but cut some fire breaks for God's sakes.
Yeah, I know, but all those people are so green out there. They don't want to cut any
Kill-
down.
Kill a snail darter, man. Come on, Stop.
I believe in good things, and there's always the political thing about being a tree hugger.
Yeah.
I'm not a tree hugger, but I believe in protecting our forests. I believe in protecting what we have. But up the hill here, above San Bernardino, we have a ski area up here called Big Bear Lake.
Yeah.
We had fires here, I want to say going back about 10, 12 years ago. And what happened is the beetles got into the pine trees, and I mean they came all the way down here because we have pine trees actually along the coast in a few places, and they even hit here. They just killed the trees,
Yep.
but then they wouldn't let them take them down. And then they started doing the research. Well, I guess a healthy growth is anywhere between 15 to 20 trees per acre. The whole area up there is the minimum that they counted was 55 all the way up to 95 trees an acre. So the density and all this, dead trees in there because of the beetle bark eating them up, it was just like, okay, you want to have a campfire?
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's some wood, but here's 50 gallons of gas.
Well, you know what we do? I don't know if you guys remember, Ed, were you in Florida in 98 when the whole state was on fire pretty much?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I lived in Orlando. I had my boat over in Daytona Beach, and everything was burning. And the smoke was terrible. It was dry. It was in June. I-4 was closed. I-95 was closed. Every major road was closed. You couldn't get from here to there, no matter what you did, because of these fires. And after that, I don't know whether they decided they didn't have enough fire breaks, but they started a really aggressive program of controlled burning.
Yep.
To clean out the dead stuff, because that's what really was the big problem, and fire breaks and all these things. And we really haven't had that problem since.
And really, and even we've had drought since then.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
a dead pine tree burns very well.
Oh, any of these dry trees.
Flash. It ignites. It's a flash. That's all it is.
Thomas O'Sullivan asked me if I'd been doing any 3D printing lately. So I have a bag full of stuff here, and I'll show you. Anyway, let me just let me change the subject here for a second and get on to more hobby-related things. Let me go over to this picture here and make it a little bigger. And what this is, I'm rocking it now. This box, this big box right here, the big box underneath all the little boxes, is the Sonic model binary airplane that I was talking about. And I don't know if you guys remember, but let me show you what it is.
What do they mean by binary?
Well, that's the name of the model. It's just
Okay.
that's what it's called. It's called a Sonic model binary because it's a twin engine. It's it's a twin motor fixed wing, and if you look at it here, you can see what it looks like.
Oh, that looks very cool.
And it's got a 4-foot wingspan, and it's designed for FPV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's designed to be an FPV airplane and use a flight controller running either ArduPilot or iNav.
So the FPV cam is the FPV cam right in the nose?
Yep, it's actually right up there. If you look at the where the canopy is, you see there's a plywood plate.
Yeah.
And you see there's I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can make it a little. No, I can't blow it up a little bit here with this picture, but let me see if I can find a picture, a better picture of it that I can blow up here. Images. Here we go. Images. Here we go. Here's a setup. I'm gonna just pull this out. I'm gonna put it in a something where I can blow it up here for you. There's the setup up front. This guy in this one, he's got the FPV camera right there with a tilt swivel, so you can swivel it around and tilt it up and down. And he's got a 360 camera mounted behind it.
Wow.
And up top here, is a GPS module
Wow.
for the autopilot, and then back here you've got all the radio antennas, the VTX antenna, and he's even got some cameras stuck, some regular little action cameras stuck all over the airplane to take other footage. So at any rate, this is how I'm going to build mine up, and I'm going to be putting landing gear on mine. It's also got a camera bay. If you look up here in the bottom, see right there, that'll actually, you can use this thing for mapping as well if you have a flight controller in it. So part of we started out talking about 3D printing, and part of what I did was I had to make some of these parts for that tilt swivel for the camera. So this here is the device that holds the FPV camera, and it mounts the bottom here on a servo, which turns this way and pans it side to side, and that servo goes down into that plywood plate in front of the airplane. It's tilted by this servo here, and when this servo moves, it actually tilts on this little screw here. I hate to move these servos by hand, but yeah, there you go. See how it tilted up there? If I hold it
Now
level,
that is very cool, and I think it would be awesome to have a servo-driven FPV cam on just a drone.
yeah. Well, that's what's cool about these airplanes. Now, the interesting thing about this is the camera that I'm going to put in here isn't this run cam. It's going to be one of the Cadex Tarsiers. It's the twin lens one. Okay, with a 4K camera on top and the FPV camera on the bottom, and then I 3D printed this little mount on the back for the 20 by 20 circuit boards, the two boards that come with that camera that have the SD card slot and all that in it, and then I'll make a little cover to go on top of that mess, and that'll all sit up there out in the front. These things are not designed to crash like drones are. You don't crash these things. You don't build them with the crashing them in mind. So I did. One guy actually uploaded the plans on Thingiverse. The guy who designed these pieces for his shared the prints. The print for this was a simple print. This I just did up myself. The print for the mount for the little board there. And then
okay, Mitch, what about making some pontoons for the seaplane?
I know. Look, I was thinking the same thing, Steve.
Yeah.
Then you can go to that. Then you can go take it to that canal.
I don't want to get all this fancy electronics wet. Anyway, this is the VTX that goes in there, and I'm going to use for it. And I also 3D printed this little mount to stick inside the airplane with double sticky tape to hold that, and of course the antenna will come up on the top. Then I printed these covers go over the. One of the problems you have is the ESCs on the bottom of this thing get hot, and they just have solid covers. Well, this guy designed these ESC covers that actually have cooling slots in them, so I printed a couple of those up. So there's.
Hello.
So Jody, Tomas, there's my 3D printing adventures.
So where does so what comes with the actual aircraft itself?
Well, the actual aircraft is just the structure. Okay,
So
and
no
that
motors,
costs
no
that's
nothing.
no nothing. That's about the actual airplane itself is about $100. I think it was $114 on Amazon. Then for 80 something bucks they sell this, and this is what they call a power kit. And in the power kit, you've got. Let me go over to this other camera here. It'll be easier for me to show you here what you got in here. In the power kit, it comes with the two props.
Those are big props.
They're 8-inch 3-bladed props. Well, these are pretty big motors. You get all kinds of extension cables. You get all the servos. You get six
Okay.
servos. You get two motors, which are like 22 size of these things. 2212 or something. Anyway, you get two. You get two of the motors. You get the two of the ESCs, 50 amp ES, 40 amp ESCs, and there's the other motor. So all that stuff is like $80. So we're up to about $200 now. And then if you want landing gear for I think $18, you get the landing gear kit, which comes with the wheels and the steerable nose gear and another servo for that, and all the plywood to build the mount for it, and the tires and everything else. So that's and then there's a lighting kit which is on its way via slow boat from China. That right now that actually on the you can see this picture right here. Okay, let me see the lights.
Nice.
It's got flashing wingtip lights and a tail strobe, and then
That's cool.
and then landing lights right here. And it uses a 3-position. It comes with a little controller for the lights, so you set up a 3-position switch. The first position is off. Second would turn on just the strobes, and then all the way would turn on everything.
What's the wingspan again? Did you say 4 feet?
4 feet, yeah, 1,200 millimeters. So it's it's about 4 feet, 48 inches.
That's good size.
Yeah, it's good size, but it's still small enough to fit in a car.
Yeah.
And
That's always a plus.
and then I'm putting. Here, let me put my 3D printed stuff away here. And then for a receiver, I got a 16 channel Free Sky that has places to plug servos in. You know, it's not like the little drone receivers. It's more like a model airplane receiver. See?
Lift it up higher. There you go.
Now you're required to register that with the FAA now too, aren't you?
No.
No.
Well, yeah. As a model airplane, you have to. Yeah.
It's the same as a drone.
Same
right?
as a drone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody does though. In model airplanes, nobody does.
Well,
None-
I mean, here's the thing, Steve, is you only have to register yourself.
right, once, and use the same number for all your airplanes. It's just like a recreational drone pilot.
Yeah. Well, up here we have to register every drone.
Now this gizmo here, this is the cool part. This is the part that I like. This thing, and I'll hold it up to the camera here.
You know, you still have your computer screen showing, so it's awful hard for us to see a little box.
I guess it would be. Thanks for reminding me. How's that? Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna have
There
to.
we go.
I'm gonna have to step out, Mitch. I got dogs that are.
Oh,
laying
okay.
in
Well,
bed.
hey, Gary, you know, I always appreciate you coming in here helping me out.
No, it's always a pleasure coming on. I always look forward to it, Mitch, and thanks for having me.
Well, you never know what's going to happen on this thing. You know,
Well, you never know.
I'm always coming up with some oddball kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
to
See
keep-
you later, everybody.
try to keep life interesting.
Take care. Take care.
All right.
See you next
Okay. Take care.
later,
Gary.
Gary. Look,
Tomas
man,
asked if it has returned to home. Tomas,
Fly
This-
safe and have fun.
this is the flight controller right here. It's made by Maytech. It's a F7. It's called the 765, which is a more advanced processor than the 722. It's the latest thing, and it runs iNav, the latest version of iNav, and it does everything. Not only does it have return to home, but it'll return to home and it'll fly in circles. It'll loiter over your head. It'll fly. It'll fly waypoint missions. It has 4 or 5 different types of stabilized flight modes. 2D with heading hold, 2D with heading hold and altitude hold. It's absolutely incredible. I have so much to learn about this, but that's half the fun of it.
Yes, it is.
But it does have emergency, fail-safe return to home. Only unlike the drones that return to home and just end up crashing in the ground at your feet. This board, if you use it, you can use this new iNav. This is the wing version of the board, but they also have a quadcopter version, and it'll do what the DJI stuff does. It'll actually, in an emergency, come back and land. You can, it's not dissimilar from the technology that DJI is using. So, but this one is designed for a wing. It has basically 2 dedicated motor outputs, and another neat thing about this is it controls 2 cameras. And so you can switch your cameras with a switch on the transmitter. You can have one
That's
camera
pretty cool.
facing to the rear, another camera facing forward, and you can switch your view. And of course, when you're flying this thing, you throw the autopilot on, and it just flies, and you don't have to fly the airplane, and you can then pan and tilt around with the camera, look down, look back, look at the motor out on the wing, watch things go by sideways, or flick to the camera in the back, or have a camera pointing down or whatever. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So when you do that, throw on the autopilot. I guess it keeps it current heading and direction.
Yep. Or if you're on a waypoint mission, the autopilot will just fly from one waypoint to another.
Gotcha.
And you have the iNav actually has a waypoint planner built into it. This new version of iNav, it's very, very sophisticated. But it's similar enough to, what is that? What is that?
Yeah,
Ed, is that you?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, you blow my eardrums out with that.
I thought this phone was dead.
It's
It's only got 2% power. What the hell?
Evidently it isn't.
Well, I'm taking care of that.
Okay, no problem. I just didn't want to make sure it wasn't me doing all that.
No.
So that's the flight controller for this thing, and then it also has this thing is a pitot tube that goes in there.
No way.
And it actually has an airspeed sensor, so it
No
can.
way.
Oh yeah, so it actually has, and it has a barometer. This uses barometer inputs, GPS inputs, airspeed inputs, all the different sensors to get a really accurate picture of what it's doing. So it has that, and it can actually, you can display in the goggles your ground speed and your airspeed. And it can actually, I believe, compute from those 2 numbers what the wind speed and direction is based on the difference, and some stuff as it's flying along. And then it's got this big GPS module with the built-in compass as well. So it's got all these sensors and inputs. And
well, that's really cool. Oh, Mad Kiwi saying, Mitch, drone plane with the super zoom camera on it.
yeah, but what I'm thinking about doing, because I'm doing this YouTube thing and it's growing but I don't want it to get boring for everybody, and I get bored easily. So I figure if I'm getting bored, then you guys must really be bored with it. So I'm trying to come up with some different kinds of things to do. And I love RC airplanes, and I thought this would be just a lot of fun, not that expensive. The whole airplane.
Wait a minute now. How much you got into that thing already?
Well, okay, I'll tell you. I've got about $250 in the airplane for everything. That includes the airplane, the power kit, the landing gear, and the flashing lighty deals, okay? The controller was $60. The GPS was $20. And the camera thing I printed myself. So not much more than a really top-end 5-inch drone, really.
So when you say the controller, you're talking about the flight controller.
Yeah, that flight controller board was like $60, but you don't need to get the
That's not bad.
you don't need to get the 765, which is the new one. You could get the Maytech. You know, Maytech makes controllers for drones. They're one of the major.
No, I've certainly heard of the name.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're one of the major ones. So you can they have a controller called a 411, is it, or a 405 wing? At any rate, it's like $30-40, like same thing as a controller for a drone. It's just got the wing ones have a lot of stuff dedicated for the wings. For example, you got to power all the servos plug into the controller board, and the receiver feeds the controller board with S-Bus. I could actually get away with a little tiny drone receiver in there. I don't even need to have servo plugs in the
I was
receiver.
going to ask you about that.
Yeah, but rather than run some of the things like camera tilt through the controller, why bother? I'll just plug camera tilt, flaps, and stuff that the controller doesn't need to control. I'll keep that out of the controller. Why complicate it, you know? So I'll plug those things directly into the receiver, and then I'll use the channels through the S-Bus for the ailerons and elevator and throttles, which is what the flight controller can control.
So when can we expect this maiden, Mitch?
Well, what I was saying is I'm thinking that while I build this, I may as well just go live with the thing. Have people, if they want to watch, fine. If not, I just keep it going. You know, be a big long multi-part live stream as I build this thing, and I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm doing it anyway. I don't expect to have 50 viewers while I'm doing it, but guys might pop in and out, keep me company, and talk. So if you guys think that's a good idea or a bad idea, let me know.
I think that's an awesome idea, Mitch.
Except you're going to have to get like a pool table lamp with nothing but cameras over the top of it in order to be able to see everything of that whole entire fuselage while you're building.
Well, I actually, believe it or not, I have another folding table that can sit right behind me here.
Oh, okay.
Up against my green screen.
Uh-huh.
And this camera, I'll show you. I'm going to take my headphones off here for a second and talk to you. But this camera here, I can take it and just swivel it over to that area where that table is going to be. See, in front of the green screen?
Yeah.
And I can't hear you now if you're talking to me, but I can put it over there and aim this camera right at that build table and zoom it in, and that way I got enough cameras here that I can cover that. And then I got this other camera. I got this other. There we go. I got this other camera, which is the side camera. This little camera here that I can move around and put anywhere. So I'll try to keep somehow have a camera on the action, or I can move this camera that's over this side table over in the back. I'll figure out some way to do it so everybody can see. I've got 3 cameras hooked up to this system.
Right up until the point you have to put the wings on. That'll be cool.
even then, I can zoom out far enough with one of these cameras we'll be able to see the whole thing. But Brent Nunley, how you doing? So you just popped in. I don't know if I missed anybody in the chats here or not, but we're having a good time tonight. So that's my latest. That's going to be my project, and then of course I'll go out there and film the flights, and maybe it's that. R9 receiver in there, the 16 channel has a 10.
You're doing the R9, are you?
I do the R. I've gone to the R9 on all my stuff now. Anything new I build, I use the R9. Then you never have to worry about range. I think it's got a 10-mile plus range. This R9 comes with it has the T antennas,
Yeah.
but this receiver actually has diversity. It has two of them, two of those T antennas that you stick
Oh,
on the
really?
airplane. Yeah, and it's got a greater than 10 kilometer, about 6.5 mile range.
Wow.
And then you
Further
can
than I want to have a bird out there, I can tell you that.
then you could put you get a ground station for your video feed with a you can actually get a ground station that has antennas that'll actually based on the GPS telemetry from the airplane. It'll actually track it, it'll point a directional antenna right at the airplane wherever it is, and it'll just track it like NASA tracks satellites. And that's not that expensive. I mean, these guys are doing 10, 15, 20-mile flights with these airplanes. It's crazy, breaking every law in the book, but they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, well.
And Jody, yeah, you can. This system will work fabulous in a helicopter. You could take an RC helicopter, and you get this thing in there, and you get it installed and set up right, and that helicopter will fly just like a Mavic drone. It'll hover. It'll follow courses. It'll maintain GPS position. It'll hold its altitude. It'll auto land itself. It'll do all kinds of things. That's another project maybe if I ever get tired of the airplanes. But I really think that it's a challenging project because there's a lot more to learn. And this iNav kind of takes up where Betaflight leaves off. It adds all of the navigation stuff in. Ed, you got to go?
Yeah, I got to
okay,
run.
buddy.
I didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking.
Oh, well, listen, thanks for coming, man. Thanks for stopping in.
It was a pleasure being here. We'll see you later, brother.
Always good to see you. You take care.
Take it easy, Steve.
You too.
Mad Kiwi, Phantom, all you guys. You're all great. See you later, alligators.
Okay, buddy. Take care. So anyway, that's that's what I'm up to. So I have every piece that I need for this airplane. I've been accumulating for 2 weeks now. I've been waiting. This stuff's coming from everywhere. I got some of it from Amazon. I got some of it from Banggood, but they had some of it in the U.S. where the landing gear was in the U.S. warehouse. So that came. But unfortunately, the little lighting kit, which you have to put in fairly early because you got to run all the wires. That was in China, and that's been coming. And I just saw the first tracking that it hit the States. And it's in customs in Miami, and I'm supposed to have it Saturday, according to the tracking. So I'll have that. I'll have that. And I ordered, spent another $6 and ordered a spare set of props at the same time. So I'll get those things. And I think that that's
Just
everything.
Keep it away
That's-
from those flamingos.
Yeah. Well, birds don't chase RC airplanes like they chase drones.
Yeah, but when you land that on the water after you put those pontoons on it, they may be out there in the low-lying area where you're going to retrieve that plane.
Well, I got something to show you. Hang on a second. Don't go away.
I'm not. I'm here.
I can't hear you, but I'll show you this. This is there we go. This is a seaplane, a little amphibious, little water plane that I have, and I never had a place to fly it. But now that I found that new park down there in Palm Bay with all those little retention ponds that are big enough, I'm gonna take this thing out and fly it, and it's really pretty cool. All these planes are made out of this structural foam these days. So hang on, and I'll get my headphones back on. Okay, were you able to see that?
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, that.
That's really cool. That pusher. I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's a what's it called? Forget the name of it. Anyway, my son bought it. He bought it because he lived, and he thought he'd fly it off the intercoastal behind his house. Okay. Well, the intercoastal's a little rough for that, and so I went out there with him, and we flew it once. This was, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, one time, and then he kind of lost interest in the hobby, and he put it away, and it's just been, and it ended up in his storage unit. So things been sitting in his storage unit, and he finally decided that he's going to save himself some money and get rid of the stupid storage unit. So he says, "Hey, Pop, you want this?" It's like I need another airplane. I said, "Sure, I'll take it." So now I need to just throw a receiver in it and make sure everything works. But we flew these things up at that Joe Knoll fly-in in, hold on a second here. Hang on, just bear with me 1 second here. I got a whole hour video here to look through, but I think I may have some shots of that thing actually flying here. There's the boat. Got the boat.
Now, which fly-in was this?
It's called Joe Knoll. It's one of the biggest RC fly-ins in the country for giant scale stuff, and it's I think I got the wrong one here. We used to go up every year till my best friend died, and then I stopped going. We used to go up, and I was I chronicled it for everybody. There it is. I took the videos, and here's this is that seaplane that I just showed you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see it actually coming in and landing on the water. Their Icon is what it's called. Yeah, it's an Icon, and they're just a lot of fun to fly. There you go. So you never know what you get. You never know what you get on my show. You get all kinds of action. You get.
Wow, good landing.
I don't know if Stan. I know I got me flying it. That's Stan flying it there. That was my buddy. This guy was my best friend in the world. He died about 5 years ago.
Oh.
And he was a dentist, and we used to hang out at the local flying field every day. We hang out. We talk we were like one mind when it came to everything, politics and everything else. And he was a great guy, and he finally sold his dental practice and retired and died. He was a sick man. He'd always had heart problems and everything, but and what killed him was cystic fibrosis.
Oh wow.
And he got that because inhaling all kinds of crap his whole life. Not only, he just never wore a mask. You know, he would do grinding on dental stuff, and he would spray paint cars. He rebuilt old Porsches and gorgeous stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he never wore a mask when he painted. So he's always inhaling this poison, and it finally killed him.
That stuff will do it to you.
Oh man. And we always told him about it. And then we had a mutual friend who was much younger. Stan was 75 when he died, but our friend was only 50. Hey, there he is. Guess who that is? That's me flying this thing. There we go. And then while I was flying it, the stupid rudder decided the servo broke. It just went over to one side, and the thing just wanted to go around in circles. So that was the end of that. We've had to fix it. But that was me in 2012. So that was, and that was this. You've seen this boat. I've showed you this before.
Yeah, the old Chris Craft.
Oh, man, what a gorgeous piece of work. Some of these guys were real craftsmen. This kid, his father is in has a place out at one of the local airports over there by Orlando where they actually rebuild old airplanes, old Stearmans and things like that. This particular plane here was a half scale. It was absolutely huge. Seaplane.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about floats, and I'll get to the end of the flight. You'll see how big this thing is when they taxi it over to the.
That thing's huge.
Yeah, wait till you see when they taxi it. Look at the size of it compared to the guys standing in the
Yeah.
water. Isn't that something?
You can almost crawl inside and take it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. There are people that have actually built home built airplanes that were smaller than that thing, and flew in them. Anyway, there it is, a little memory lane action. But I'm so glad that I made these videos and edited them and took the time to do that, because it's like family, having a family album. These guys were this was my family at the time. My family was all grown and gone, and
Yeah.
these are the guys that whatever you are, I'll equalize our size up here. What time is it? 7:15, man. It's still afternoon where you are, isn't it?
You bet, man. It's only 4:15.
Wow. Hey, Kenny here. Cardoso's here. I guess.
Yeah, he's over there stocking up on candy. I told him to throw some our way.
Yeah, well, he did. There you go. He did. He gave us some lollipop, and we've lost. I guess I bored some of our viewers. We lost some of them. Not everybody likes all these different things. I guess some people, if you're not talking about drones, I don't want to hear it.
Well, it varies. You want fluctuation too.
Well, the main thing for me is it's got to be I've got to be interested in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's not interesting to me, why would I want to do it for YouTube?
Oh yeah.
I just got a closed the wrong window here. I just got you heard of SYMA, SYMA? They build these.
You bet. Las Vegas, baby.
They build these toy drones. No, it's a toy drone company.
Oh.
Chinese toy drone company. SYMA, SYMA, I think.
Yeah,
or
I have right here.
Oh, you got one, huh?
My first drone I ever had.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I guess they make some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
But
It's still flying. And I've crashed it a whole bunch of times.
so I get an email from SYMA in Chinese English. Dear friend, we want to, we admire your work, your YouTube channel. And would you be interested in reviewing this drone for us? And they have a $40-something drone designed for kids. It holds out to it, and they can bat it back and forth between them. They can.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just so I said, well, God, all right, let's see what they have in mind. So I said, what have you got in mind? Well, they're gonna. I said, but what's it? Basically, what do I get out of it? I don't need. They give me a toy drone for free. I don't need a toy drone for free. And to do all the work of creating a video review and editing it, you got to get something. It's not something that I would do for myself. It's not something that I would enjoy creating a beautiful video out of. I said, well, I sent him back a letter and said, okay, I have an Amazon affiliate account, and I'll review the drone. I'll be honest. If it's a piece of junk, I'll say so. And I'll put a link in the bottom and direct people who might want to buy it to my Amazon affiliate account, because that's how it works, right? So I get an answer back from them. And they say, "Oh no, we want you to direct them to our Amazon affiliate account." So evidently, this is not SEMA, the company. This is a marketing person
Right.
who just tries to set up these, for the price of a drone, one drone to a guy who might review it,
Right.
get a bunch of sales for the market. So ask me if I replied to that email. So so my hopes and my dreams of being a big time drone reviewer are crashed against the rocks, dashed, up in flames. And I watch these guys. I mean, the guys that are pretty well established. Not even Ken Herron so much because he doesn't do a lot of drone reviews, but Drone Camps RC,
Yeah.
UAV Futures, Stu, Andy RC. These guys, Bardwell even, they get so much crap in the mail every day. So many new drones. I'm talking about expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And these manufacturers just on the hope that they might review it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what do I get? Old guy, I get some marketing guy trying to get me to do all his work for him and sell $40 toy SEMA drones. I don't know.
Well, I've for my little podunk channel, they've sent me ones. They want me to review phone cases, makeup bags.
I can see that. I mean, that's a logical tie in there. Yeah.
I could sit there with a mirror and just do this whole
Yeah.
entire thing, I should have. That's what I should have done. I should have said yes a long time ago. Had the bag, sat there with the camera, and done a makeup of a Halloween face. That would have been good.
I mean, I got what else? What was the one I got? Oh, they want Comica, COMIC,
Yeah.
Comica. How are you? pronounce it?
Omika.
Yeah, they sent me a because I did some videos on the vlogging rigs with the different microphone. Well, they sent me a couple of things to review, and I did, but nothing ever came of it.
Mhm.
And I decided unless people are starting to send me things like Fat Shark goggles, DJI air, systems, I'm not interested in reviewing this nickel and dimes. That's not what I do. That's almost like a full-time job for some of these guys. They do one every day.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful because they all have the affiliate links. So the tendency is to be a salesman more than a reviewer.
Yeah.
And unless the thing is an absolute piece of garbage, they're going to pretty well try to sell it. And I don't guess so, but you have to take those things with a grain of sand when you watch those reviews. Oh yeah.
Well, Kenny's talking about Cardoso Media about how he got the Fujitech for his AK-4000.
Oh wow.
They sent it to him to review, and he told him he didn't do it.
$700 gimbal.
Yeah. He did. Well, you did use it for some videos. I mean, so you were, but you never actually did a full-on review, I guess.
Well, the first day that I get $700 worth of something in the mail from one of these guys for free, you'll find me like flat on my back in shock.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's a heck of a nice piece of equipment to get to use. And
Oh man. I'm happy just to get the stuff I pay for in the mail
Yeah.
and not have it get lost, especially the stuff that comes from China.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is always an adventure because what happens, they give you a tracking number that U.S. Postal Service recognizes. And it's a strange tracking number. It's not like the normal ones.
Uh-huh.
And when you put that tracking number in there for the longest time, all it says is pre-shipment,
Oh,
because they're waiting for it to hit the States
mhm.
from whoever shipment in China that they used. And
DHL or whoever.
not DHL, but China Post or something like that.
Mm.
DHL will get it here in a day or two. And what did I just buy that I got from China in 2 days? It was something I ordered, and the shipping was $30 on it. It would have been 20 otherwise, and what the hell was it? God, I don't even remember. I get all these little pieces and parts coming in because I have to buy all kinds of little gizmos and gadgets to start
Yeah.
building airplanes again. You got to have the right tools.
So
You
you
got to have the
ordered
right
something?
glues.
So you ordered something, and 2 days later, after ordering it, you received it direct from China. You sure it wasn't a warehouse here?
No, it was not only it shipped. It was a day and a half. I received it. 1.5 days. It shipped late in the afternoon on one day, and I had it not the next day, but the morning of the following day. So it was about 38 hours. And what was it? And it was I don't remember.
Wow.
But it was less than 2 days, but the shipping cost $30. But still, it was DHL. It got delivered at 9:30 in the morning. It went right from China to Orlando,
Mhm.
and DHL brought it here. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And the normal slow boat shipping would have been $20, so it was $10 extra for the expedited shipping.
And you got it that quick. Wow.
Paul's got to go. Thanks for stopping in, Paul. Good to see you. I appreciate you hanging in here with us this long. DHL has planes too. Yeah, yeah, they're terrific. But so what happens with the slow boat stuff is until it hits the States, you don't know where it is
Yeah.
in most cases, and
Because it's just in a cargo container.
it's somewhere. It could be coming by boat or it could be on an airplane, but
Yeah.
until it hits customs. So this one that I'm waiting for, I ordered it on the 17th. It's 2 weeks ago. Okay, it shipped out the next day, so it's been missing in action for 2 weeks. And I know better with them than to actually ask about it until it's missing in action for a month.
Hmm.
I've had one thing lost from Banggood.
Yeah.
Everything else I've gotten eventually. And they refunded me the one that got lost. It just took a lot of email and back and forth. But this thing showed up finally. I was shocked because I opened up the tracking and it says Saturday, November 2nd, be delivered. So I said, wow, just showed up out of nowhere. And now I'm going to have it by Saturday. So I went to see where it was, and it actually came into Miami
Wow.
from China. It ended up in Miami, and ICS is the international, what do they call it, International Customs Service, whatever. ICS is what the post office is what they call their branches that deal with international mail
Yeah.
coming in. Yeah.
Customs. Right.
And this is, $20 deal basically. These light kit is $26, so it's not that I'm
Yeah.
not worried about customs or anything. It's not that big a deal, but
Well, you figured like you're talking about, if it's a lot of lightweight stuff, they can put that in, and especially if it didn't have any batteries or anything on board,
no,
they can put
nothing.
them in these cargo planes and they can put a crap load of stuff in it because it's so lightweight, most of it being, plastic or light electronics. But when you're dealing with batteries and other stuff like that, that's got to come on a special cargo
Oh
plane.
yeah.
If it is carrying batteries when they do come air, and then you're going to be paying dearly for it.
Hey, Lloyd is here. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing? How you feeling? He's eating supper and watching. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. And Kenny asked if either one of us is buying a Mavic Mini, and I think the answer is a resounding no. You're not buying one of those things, are you, Steve?
No.
I you know, I mean, a lot of times I have a desire to buy what DJI comes out, but I never had a Spark or a Mavic Air either.
Well, you know, I look at it as it's a great starter drone, and the price that it's at for the money and what it comes packed with. I mean, it's a great starter drone.
I think it is like I said in my opening monologue. It scares
Right.
me. It scares me that it's going to get into a lot of careless hands, irresponsible children with no idea what the consequences of their actions might be, even if they don't do harm or damage anybody.
Yeah.
The furor that they might create by people registering complaints about drones flying over their property. You know, I think that's going to, with this kind of thing, is
Yeah.
going to quadruple or more the number of drones out in the general public, and it can't
Oh,
help.
for Christmas time, that's
Yep.
you're going to be seeing those things flying out the door.
Can't literally flying out the door. Yeah, literally. And it scares me a little bit because you know, the government is never shy to inject themselves, identify a really non-problem, and then shake up the universe to solve it. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, what'll probably happen is what happens with most of these toys that these kids get. They get bored with them after a week. You know what I mean? They'll take it out.
Yeah.
They'll do it once or twice. Then the thing will sit. There'll be a bunch of them for sale.
Yeah, there will be. I mean, for somebody though, like I was saying, it's for a starter drone for someone new to flying drones, and you know, it's in a price bracket where I'm looking at it like, you know, we were talking during the holidays as a gift for Christmas, Hanukkah, or whatever, and you're putting that out there. A $400 gift is not uncommon for kids nowadays, and that's going to be the thing. And then especially with it coming in at only $100 more for the Fly More kit. And what I thought was really clever was that hub where the batteries all sit in.
That is.
It's all protected, and then you know exactly what all three battery charge level is on it.
Well, and they have to do something like that because they're not intelligent batteries. They have no indicators in them. They have, you know, they don't have the circuitry. They're just 18650 cells.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know what the number means. Do you have any idea?
I don't know what that number means.
18650 means 18 millimeters by 65 millimeters. That's the size of the battery,
Okay.
and that's what it means. I didn't know either. I finally, you know, looked up battery trivia and found out that's how they number these batteries. It's just, and they put a zero on the end for some reason. But 1865 means it's 18 millimeter diameter, 65 millimeters long, and it's like a big AAA battery. You know, a big AA battery. Yeah. And they're not lithium polymer. They're lithium ion,
Yeah.
which in a lot of respects are a lot safer than the lithium
Right.
polymers. And I think
What they almost reminded me of is looking at my Canon battery. I mean, that's a Vivitar, but it's a Canon battery.
Yeah.
It almost looked kind of like that same size.
it's a little longer. They're a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, real similar to it. I'm sitting there going, well, wow, that works pretty cool.
And you know, these vape things use those 18650 lithium ion. That's where most of them are sold, for those big vaporizer things.
Right.
So you ask anybody who vapes, they know exactly what a 18650 is. And then you get something that looks like this. See this? Here, let me bigify myself. This here
Yeah.
is the charger.
Right.
And it takes, and you know, has a spring, and you can put anything from a rechargeable AAA, AA, or 18650 in here, and it plugs into. It's got a USB port, and that's what you use to charge them. And this I got for the batteries for my new radio, the Jumper T16 uses those batteries, and they're really great because they're cheap to buy. You can keep a few spares. They're easy to swap out. It's like changing flashlight batteries.
Right.
Only they're 3,000 milliamp batteries, and you get quite a bit of power from them. The charger and two batteries, that not cheap batteries but good batteries, was about $20.
Okay.
That's for the charger and two cells
Uh-huh.
in the package. So they're cheap, $5 a piece for a decent one. I know
Mhm.
Panasonic makes them, LG makes them, Samsung makes them, but you don't need to buy a name brand. You can also buy them that aren't lithium ion. You can buy alkaline ones that have almost 10,000 milliamps in them, but you
Yeah.
can't. They're not rechargeable. They're just like regular flashlight batteries.
Yeah, because if you're going to get the rechargeables, they're also going to be, like looking back to like a regular battery. They're not going to be like 1.5 volt. They're only going to be 1.2 or
1.2,
1.2.
right? And that's what you want. You want the 1.2s. No, the lithium cells are, of course, 3 point whatever,
Yeah.
3.4, whatever, 3.5. Hey, Big D trolls in the house. How you doing, my friend? Thanks for coming in.
Hmm.
So you saw the video, Steve, of the new place I found to fly?
Yes, I did. I was able to watch it. I was just looking at it while cruising down the road and letting it play.
That's down near where Jim lives.
Oh, okay.
I mean, why he never told me about that place, I'll never know. It's much closer to him than me. It's 10 miles from where I am, which is fairly close. I used to, the club flying field that I've been going to is over 20 miles away. This place is less than 10 miles south, and I mean to tell you, it is it's incredible. I think I have it on the computer here. Let me take a look and see. You see how well I plan these shows out. You know how.
What's a script or what's an agenda?
Yeah, I don't have. Let's see, Mavic 2. Here we go. Hold on a second here. There we are. This is the place. Look at this. Look at this. How, and I took my Mavic out there the other day.
Oh, that's over by Jim. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him fly that area.
Well, thanks. He never told me about it. And I mean, there's guys go out there with RCR, but look at the big field off to the left there. And wait, I'll be coming around. Anyway, and there's I can fly the seaplane off. There's 3 or 4 different retention ponds, big open fields that are mowed, beautifully mowed.
Yeah.
Nobody's during the week. The place is deserted. There's nobody out there except a couple of guys. You see, there's 3 cars off to the left there. See?
Yeah. He's
That's
never
my-
gotten this close. It was from a distance, so he's never gotten this close of flying it. I just recognize that park area with those ponds and the shape of it.
But look, wait till you see. Look at this. Look at that pond there.
Yeah.
And there's a field there that has like a cricket thing, which is almost like a little runway.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 different fields in that park you can fly RC airplanes off of.
How cool. And how far is that from you?
Less than 10 miles.
Oh, wow.
And there's nothing. So when you go west of there, that's looking south right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm turning around to the east. But when you go west of there, you cross the road adjacent to this park that runs north and south,
Right.
and there's a school there, and then there's nothing after that but open country and fields and forests for miles and miles and miles. So to fly that airplane and take off and go on a journey with it.
Hmm.
I could fly 5 miles off in that direction and never be over a living soul.
Wow.
It's
Now,
just
what's that place on the left that you're just coming up? It looks like
that's the community center in the park.
Okay.
And I'm taking a little guided tour around the park. Yeah, you know, I've got that little commercial gig to do. Is that far from you? Tomas says. Yeah, like I said, about 15-minute drive from my house. I've got a gig, and I just wanted to, check out the Mavic 2, make sure everything was okay,
yeah.
all the firmware was updated. So I took it out to the park and just flew it around.
Now the question is, did you recharge the batteries back up?
I will before I go to over to Tampa. But I think that's where I hit return to home. See it climbing a little bit.
Yeah.
I had no idea. The thing was behind me, so and one of the other guys who was there he was fascinated by the technology, and of course I had my 7-inch crystal sky there, so when you look at the image on that, it blows you away.
Oh yeah, bright as can be.
And I didn't even know where the hell the drone was, so I said, "Watch this." Hit the return to home, and when I could just hear it. You know how when it sneaks up on you from behind you, you can finally hear it. Anyway, that was the return to home. There was some more of the. This is some more of the the flight. I recorded the whole flight, so of course it took up. It's 4K, it's about 10 gigabytes
Right.
worth of files. But here, let me stop it right here. And if you see, I don't know if you can see right in the middle of that field, that big open field is a cricket thing.
Yeah.
See, it looks like a line. The guys use that as a runway. But you can fly the RC airplanes.
Oh yeah.
And nobody seems to mind. But it's a gorgeous little park, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's so wide open.
Yeah, wide open. But, if you're flying a FPV drone and you want to zip around some trees or around some light poles and stuff, you got plenty of obstacles out there. If you want to take your drone for a swim, got plenty of lakes to dunk it into, and got to be careful about that. Anyway, that's so I called Jim. I said, hey Jim, meet me out there, but I called him, he didn't answer, and then I got a text from him saying that his wife was having some kind of surgery or something.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
he'd call me, but he never did call me. So
she's been in the hospital since the 26th, I think it was.
Artco, hey Art, hey Tomas, my apartment flooded. Artco's apartment flooded. Art,
Wow.
no, tell us about it. Wow, I wonder what happened to Art. Sorry, Mitch, my apartment flooded again, and I'm at my sister's house. Holy cow! Well, I guess we're not going to have Art tonight on Halloween, but sorry to hear that, Art.
Yeah.
You said it happened again. Does it happen? Does it happen very often? Is this a regular thing?
Well, that's when you wonder: is it a leaking roof or fire sprinklers?
You're in Denver. You're supposed to be in the mountains. It's not supposed to flood there. I could understand Florida flooding, but well, that's too bad.
Well, you were this year.
What's that?
I say you were. Your state was this year flooding.
Yeah, we were lucky. We didn't have any flooding. We had, knock on wood, and we still got 30 days left of hurricane season. But it ends November 30th, but things have calmed down pretty good. And other than that Dorian, which was very tense, that thing was coming, and for weeks it seemed like it was just coming, and every day it was. I was joking about it. One day it was coming right at us, and everybody's going, "Oh!" The next day it's going away from us. Yay! Next day, oh, it's back. Hey, yay! You talk about an emotional roller coaster. One day you're going to lose your house; it's going to blow away in a Category 5 storm.
Yeah.
Next day, it's going to be okay. Next day, coming your way again. Ah, God.
Well, that's going to be my next job, to become a weather forecaster. Because where else can you have a job and be wrong 90% of the time and still keep your job?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, look, we're flying behind me now because I put this on top of my Halloween picture.
There you go.
I'll get well, what happened to my Halloween picture? It's gone. Hold on, I got it here somewhere. I think. There it is. Halloween picture. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Got it back. I'll use this once this year. This and the little zombie girl, which is a green screen. See? See what it is?
Yep. See it.
We're typing. Who we typing to? E-drone. Hey, Skydia 2 Versa. Eric, I just read, I got my email too, and I read it to everybody. And Steve Carpenter got his, and he's got it, and by Christmas. We'll get it by Christmas. Whatever, they give us 10 days notice to go out and raise the money.
Well, I'm going to hit up all the kids tonight.
Yeah, they got change. You remember when you were, I don't know if they still do like we used to do. When we were kids, I was going to tell a story earlier. I grew up in Philadelphia, big city, very congested. In other words, we lived on a street with what they call semi-detached houses. There was 2 houses to each building with a little walkway between them.
Right.
Not quite row houses, but very dense. And you didn't have to go very far trick-or-treating to really get a haul.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used to go out and we'd get these big bags full of candy, and it was a ritual. We'd come home, and my mom would put a big sheet out on the floor in the living room, and we would dump all this candy out, and we'd sort it all. And it was a big deal. And I don't know if the kids, because we didn't have anything else to do. We didn't have video games and cell phones and crap like that. That's what we had to do. And I don't know if it's still that big a deal with kids today as it was back when I was. I mean, it was a big deal.
From where we used to go trick or treating, from where I live now, was only, I want to say, within a half a mile of here, and we used to go trick or treating, and everybody through the homes. Everybody's homes were decorated and going from house to house. In fact, I was talking on Lloyd's channel on Monday. And one home used to take their whole garage, move everything out, put it in the backyard, and they had a carport attached over their home. So you could go through the carport and into the garage or the house. They turned the whole thing into a haunted house. I'm talking caskets, getting dry ice for making the smoke come up. We have smoke machines now. But they had all family members and friends dressed up and makeup on to scare the heck out of you. I mean, the whole thing was done, and you'd walk through like a haunted, thing at a circus,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Every year they would do that.
Wow.
But nowadays, the people that are out there, there's so many crazies out there. You just got to be, protective of the kids. You got needles being thrown in, razor blades being thrown into candy, and I mean,
yeah. I wonder how much of that is urban legend or how much of it really happened.
There's been quite a bit that
Yeah.
even north of us here, not so much our community, but yeah, a lot of it, to where you have the police department coming in and taking photographs of it.
Wow. There's a lot of sick people in the world. It's ridiculous.
There is. But here's somebody you will remember, because we grew up not too far from him. Remember Lon Chaney?
Oh, yeah.
He lived right here in Capistrano Beach.
Oh, really?
And every year, he lived in like a Spanish adobe home, and had big high fence, and he had the whole thing all decorated all over here. And you'd walk in, he'd have music playing, and in the background.
Capistrano Beach. That is that about an out? Is that about a little north of San Diego?
Yeah, Dana Point. It's the same. It's
Okay.
way out at Dana
So
Point.
so Capistrano Beach has all these old surf shacks on it. Is that right?
Beach Road.
Okay. There's two brothers named Hoffman.
Yeah.
Walt Hoffman.
Hmm.
Hoffman Fabrics. You know him? No, kid. You know Walt?
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a long time, but
I don't know if he's still living. See, remember I told all you guys I was a knife collector.
right.
Walt is a huge knife collector.
Hmm.
Huge. And I don't know, every knife show, Walt became a great friend of mine.
I'll be doggone.
I mean, a great friend of mine. And I spent a couple of trips out to San Diego for what they call the Art Knife Invitational, which is a big knife show they have there.
right.
We'd go over to Walt's house afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And Walt's got the only two-story one on Capistrano Beach. And his brother,
on Beach Road.
yeah, and his
Right on
brother,
the swamp.
and
Not anymore.
oh, is that gone now?
No, there's a lot more two-story.
Oh, okay. But his brother, fabulously wealthy, and his brother's got this huge. I don't even know if they're still living. I haven't seen him in years. But the brother had this collection of surfboards.
Mhm.
I'm talking about monumental
Yeah.
in this basically concrete block shack of a house.
Hmm.
And I went in there to see his brother's surfboards, and his brother's got a map on the wall, big map of half of California,
Yeah.
and he's got lines drawn on it
Right.
around. And I said, "What do the lines mean?" He says, "Oh, that's what my brother owns. Huge chunks of land, and
Yeah.
this." So he showed me these surfboards. Okay, it's funny. What a small world, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So he's showing me these surfboards. And he points to this surfboard hanging from the ceiling, and it looks like a surfboard.
Mhm.
Says, Kamehameha won the 1965 world champion with that surfboard. What's it
Wow.
worth? I don't know, a couple $100,000.
Oh, easy. Easy.
And he had at least 50 or 60 of these monumental surfboards hanging on the ceiling in this shack and it was like no furniture and
Yeah.
bare floors. Unbelievable. But
He donated several to the surf museum in San Clemente because they opened up a surf museum in San Clemente finally. This is quite a while back, but actually they're going to be moving it with, I think I mentioned to you, our harbor is going to be in the process of, being completely rebuilt. And they're going to put a surf museum in the harbor because of Hobie surfboard, Hobie.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. And they're going to close that down and move everything over there to this brand new museum that'll be right in the harbor.
Well, that's cool. Walt was such a neat guy. He was a big guy, a little older than me, and he was a surfer. He's a hell of
Oh,
a
yeah,
surfer.
big time surfer.
And he had hip surgery, and actually started surfing again.
Hmm.
And he was older than he was probably, I would say Walt was probably 5 or 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
But what a knife collection. And he had this Hoffman Fabrics, was his company, and they did all these tropical.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of shirts that he gave me because he would bring shirts for us with the fabrics
Oh, cool.
from his that were made out of his, and he'd buy us these shirts. And
Uh-huh.
here's Jim at Above and Beyond Drones. Hey Jim, how you doing, buddy? Give me a call. I discovered the Palm Bay Regional Park. Thanks for keeping that a secret. And what a great place to fly. And I've been going down there to fly, so I want you to come on out.
Yeah.
So give me a call. I hope your wife's okay.
He was real good friends with my uncle. Walt was.
Was he?
My uncles owned a liquor store in Capistrano Beach.
Oh, okay.
And they were really good friends. Of course, growing up as a kid here, I knew Hobie Alter, John Severson, anybody who was anybody having to do with the surfing industry. In fact, where I grew up, there was 3 empty lots, and that was Surfer Magazine, where they opened up their door and published their first magazine.
That whole place. We were sitting in Waltz, and some old hippie looking guy comes wandering into Waltz in flip flops, big tan, surfer tan.
Uh-huh.
And Walt introduces me to him. He says, "Oh yeah, he owns all the Chart House restaurants."
Oh, okay. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's crazy. It's and they just wander. They look like beach bums. All these people.
Most of the people there were always kicked back in
God,
shorts and flip flops.
Unbelievable.
Even Hobie was that way all the time. It was shorts and flip flops, and his up and down his knees because of being on the boards, and his knees, and they had to go in for surgery to move the welts out of it from, paddling on the boards. And it was just the lifestyle. Because we had an old guy here, 2 old guys. One guy, his name was Pappy. He had an old Volkswagen van that he actually put a heater with a stack that came out the side. And he would be down on the beach, and on his 92nd birthday, he was still out there surfing.
I'm going to find a picture, Steve, of me and Walt Hoffman at a knife show. I know I've got a few of them, and I'll show it to
That'd be
you.
great to see.
Yeah.
It's decades since I've seen him.
Oh man, let me see real quick. We got about 5 minutes left. Let me just see if I can, if one of them pops up here, just real quick here. Let's see. Hold on a second. Bear with me.
Yeah.
I can't believe the coincidence. It is such a small world.
And then the other guy I was going to tell you, his name was Ron Drummond. He used to surf, canoe, and kayak off the shore here. And this guy was 6'5", and he was still paddling in his late 80s and 90s. And even when he was he was almost 70. He was paddling offshore, and at that time they had the kayakers. Oh my gosh.
That's Walt on the right.
Yeah, I know. I remember him vividly.
It's amazing, isn't it? Here,
Yeah,
that's Walt right there,
yeah.
and with the shirt. And this guy over here, his name is Wellington Wang
Uh-huh.
from China.
Okay.
One of the. I mean, this was in New York at a big international knife show, and I mean these like billionaires from all over the world would come.
Wow.
Sylvester Stallone would come to it.
Oh my gosh.
Bo Derek and Shelley Berman. I remember Shelley Berman. Shelley Berman was a huge knife collector. I used to see him up at Solvang. They had a knife show in Solvang, California. I used to go to that every year. I used to sit for hours with Shelley Berman and just talk about life and everything. What a great guy. And Peter Fonda's a knife collector.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Peter was,
he's a big knife collector. Met him any number of times, and these guys were probably and they all had the books. See the book? I have a whole library full of these gorgeous books of art knives and everything. It's a whole nother life for me, but it's a small world, Steve. It's great. Brought back some good memories for me. So that's it. Let me get you back. It is almost Ken Herron time, and I'm about voiced out. Yeah, but hey, I'm amazed you know these people. That's great. Now I know just exactly what part of California you live in.
Yeah, you know it well then.
Yeah.
When you can talk about when you said Capistrano Beach, it was like Wait a second. Going back.
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't even for 10 years I haven't even thought about that name, but it rang a bell, and I'm saying, wait a minute, Capistrano Beach, that's where Walt lived.
Yeah. In fact, here just the other day, one of the other big surfers, Mickey Munoz, he's a big longboard surfer. He still holds the record on the. They have a annual surfing contest here at Dana Point,
Yeah.
at the State Beach, and he's another big surfer. He lives 3 doors down from my mom. Still.
No
And
kidding.
it's pretty a tight knit community here. It's a small. It reminds me of. Did you ever, when you come down this way, ever go into Laguna Beach?
I think so,
Okay.
but I don't remember.
What
I
they
mean,
call the old village area, and it was all the old homes and everything, and there was a lot of like arts and crafts makers, from welders and painters and stuff. That's the way we still are here, in what we call the village area here.
now where's La Jolla? Where's La Jolla?
That's just north of San Diego.
Okay, because I remember exploring that area a little bit, but
Yeah.
because we used to go, like I say, I used to go to the Art Knife Invitational,
Mhm.
and then I actually decided to do my own version of that show, and I had with the Florida Art Knife Show, and I did that for 5 years,
Wow.
5 years running, had a knife show, and had all these big guys coming into Orlando. And that was a lot of fun. I got pictures of all this stuff, but man, it's great. It's funny. I find a picture of old Walt.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is really great. I'll have to ask my uncle if he knows if he's still alive or not.
You know, I haven't heard. I haven't been a part of that community since I had my big business failure and sold off most of what I had, and that was the end of that. But you know how life is.
Yep.
At least my life has been. You know, you move. I move from phase to phase, and has its ups and downs. But whatever phase you're in and whatever you're interested in, you try to make the best of it.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Because that's all you get. You know, you get the one time, and well, Lloyd's leaving. Everybody's got to run. Joe C, I didn't even see you in there. How you doing? You're running, and you just got. And God forbid, her and show just started. Don't want to miss any of that. So.
Oh my God, he's wearing a complete green jumpsuit, so he's green screened out.
Oh God. All right, guys. I'll, as they say, I'll let you go, and I got a cigar waiting for me. I'm gonna go sit outside, and I don't chat much on herons because I'm got my cell phone, you know, streaming over to the TV, and I can't stand typing on that little keyboard. But all you guys, thanks so much for coming, and Steve, thanks. You're always a great guest here, and interesting guy, and it's amazing we know some of the same people.
Really?
Yeah.
And another story I'll tell you, that Rodney Bell and I may have met. You know Rodney Bell?
Oh yeah.
We may have met when we were much younger, when he was in the service. I'll tell you this
Oh
story.
wow. Yeah. Next time.
Found out with next time.
Well, listen, great. Thanks for popping in, Steve. I value you as a guest on my show, and appreciate you spending the time here.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invite.
All
Wishing
right.
everybody a happy Halloween.
Yeah. Happy Halloween. Oh God. All right, Steve. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you next time. All right, that just leaves me and the monkey. So I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. I'm going to give you the rest of the day off. Go play with your drones. Don't eat too much candy. Let's see who we got left here. Mad Kiwi, Steve Carpenter, EBR. Have a great evening. Lloyd, if you're still here, thanks for coming in. Joe C. and Jim, give me a call. We'll go flying when the cold front passes. Who else? Cardosa, Kenny, thanks for coming in. And I think that's about anybody that was still around. If I missed anybody, you know I always appreciate you spending time with me. So that being said, I'm going to crank up my music a little bit. There we are. And turn it over to Spank and the Zombie here to say goodnight. And I will see you all next week.